So, okay. Right, I can't see you yet.
Logging in.
Let me just get, if you get into your phone, yeah, I need to see you first on your Facebook, and then we'll.
Okay.
Right, let me see if I got you. Yes, I have you. Okay. So, ladies and gents, very, very good evening to you. The first thing I'm going to ask everyone, I'm just going to ask Rashpal to just to share it into a few groups, just to tell people what we're doing. Okay, so share. Okay. Friends. Okay. What's that? Right. Okay, ladies and gents, we're just inviting a few friends in at the moment, so just bear with us. Just copy that to my timeline, and just get us something on here as well. On this one, I share to the group. Sharing a group. Yes. I'll share that one. So that's going to go here. Okay, and next one will be coronavirus group. Okay, okay, we're building up our numbers, so there's a few more people to invite. We've got one there, and finally into my live group. So I have a live group. Sharing a group. That's Corona. That's this one. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, brilliant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we say a very, very good evening to you all. My name is Jonathan Waterman. I'm an award-winning wedding and events Toastmaster, a coordinator and a celebrant auctioneer, consultant, and also involved in sales and marketing now, and a booking agent for all other services. So this evening, I'm delighted to be interviewing top wedding and events professional, Rashpal Nandra, from London-based Satkeer Catering this evening. I've known and worked with Rashpal for many years, and he is very, very well acquainted with the Asian wedding and events market and so much more. Rashpal is very, very passionate about what he does. Over the year, Rashpal has provided his services at countless weddings and events. So here's a little bio shared by Rashpal to me, which I just want to tell you a little bit about him as well. This is his own little biography. Rashpal started in the wedding industry at the age of 16 back in 1991 as a DJ. Set up his wedding services and event management company in 2003, and then went on to setting up Satkeer Catering in 2013. Reason for setting up Satkeer Catering was to bring back the personal, customer focus, quality and value for money that was missing in the industry. He has catered across the country for many A-list celebrities and the ex-Prime Minister, no less, Theresa May. He really, really is passionate about what he does, and he's really honoured that we've asked him to be interviewed this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let's just do our usual. I just want to pay a few respects to all of those people that have passed during the coronavirus episode. That's now 38,000 people. May they all rest in peace. And let's hope that everyone here is well, stay safe, and, you know, let's try and stop a second spike. Don't do anything stupid, and just stay indoors and follow the government's directives. Okay, so let's start. Rashpal, lovely to be interviewing you, and a very good evening to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, good evening to you, and hope you're keeping well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rashpal. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. First of all, sir, can I just kindly ask you just to please reiterate and tell people who you are and what you do and what you did prior, just enhancing some detail, please.
Sure. As you mentioned, my name is Rashpal, and I'm currently the CEO for Satkeer Catering. Prior to me setting up Satkeer Catering back in 2013, I started off as a DJ when I was at 16 years old with a couple of my friends when we were in college. The company was called LSD Roadshow. We did that for a number of years, even throughout the university days. We were clubbing, DJing at weddings, corporate functions, but predominantly that era is a lot to do with the club scene. And from there, I went on to expand the business where we started doing event management and wedding services. And that's where we started working with a lot of other suppliers within the industry, working very closely with a number of caterers. And then from there, it's just literally, I just wanted to really to take that what we were offering, or what I wanted to offer was something which I felt was missing in the industry. So I went on to set up Satkeer Catering, which was something which I was passionate about food, passionate about events, and I wanted to give something back, which I just thought was completely missing in the industry.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting actually, because obviously you've often mentioned to me about LSD Roadshow, and I know I've worked with some of the people you worked with in the past, and obviously they've always been very professional. So I mean, basically, it's quite interesting the way you've evolved. Actually, you've come into the industry, you've become a DJ. I mean, when you was a DJ at the very, very beginning, was you doing many weddings in those days, or was it mainly the pub scene and the club scene?
No, we were predominantly wedding DJs. So I mean, throughout the week, you got 104 weekends, Saturday, Sunday. We were predominantly booked out a lot. Back then, in the sort of early 90s, there weren't many big road shows out there who were doing weddings. There was we had a lot of boys from West London, East London. There was only a handful. So wedding scene was always been growing, and we were just predominantly doing weddings most of the weekends. And when we were 16, we started off. We didn't have much clue what we were doing, and we just grew with the industry, became more professional. Saving everything we had to buy equipment. So it sort of we learned a lot about business ethics at a very, very young age, and how to be successful and how to deliver customer service, listen to your clients. And at the age of 16, 17, to become that mature and to go and do somebody's big day, it is a lot of pressure on you. And that's just how we've sort of evolved, really.
Well, that's really, really good, to be honest with you, because you've got a very, very now, I mean, from your DJing days, obviously all the way through, you've got a very good reputation. A lot of people know you. Can I just ask, in relation to the catering side of it, is it mainly Punjabi weddings you've done, or is it a whole mixture?
It's been a whole mixture, to be honest, Jonathan. I mean, we started off predominantly, we are Punjabi caterers. And when I set Satkeer Catering, we were, for the first couple of years, just doing Asian events. And then we had this one client come to us, a British couple, wanted to do Indian food at their wedding. And we said, not a problem, we'll do the job for you. It's 80 people wedding. The British weddings were back then slightly smaller. And we did that wedding. And from there, it's just literally the British market is clocking onto Indian food at weddings. And the last 3 years, we have grown within the British wedding industry. And believe it or not, about 40% of my clientele are British customers, and we are doing British weddings.
Yeah, well, I mean that's really interesting. I mean, in relation to British weddings, I mean, venues wise, is it obviously I know obviously you're based around the Ilford area. Is
Yeah.
it mainly local, or is it do you go into more? If you go into London, or do you go cut nationwide? Where do you normally serve?
We are nationwide caterer, so we'll travel to wherever the client wants us to travel to. Uh, we are tied in with a number of venues, predominantly around sort of Surrey, Kent area, and deep into Essex. We tied in with a lot of venues. Either has their mainly preferred caterer. There's a couple of venues where we are their exclusive caterers. So we do have a bank of venues which we work very very closely with. But it comes down to the client. I mean, I was on the phone to a Italian lady. She's married an Indian guy, and they live in 1 mile end, but they're getting married in Leeds. So we're more than happy to travel to Leeds to do the wedding. I've got a wedding booked in Norfolk for next year. So as long as the client wants us to do the wedding for them, and they're happy with the product we're supplying them, we're more than happy to go and do the job for them. So location-wise, we're very flexible. As long as the client are happy with what the services we're providing, we're more than happy to go out there and do the job for them.
Yeah, no, that's obviously fantastic to hear. I mean, what's the situation as well with destination weddings? Is that something you've ever been approached about?
We were approached about destination weddings about a year ago. At the time, I wasn't in the right place as a company to go and do destination weddings. But then since then, my executive chef is a world-renowned executive chef. We have Sunil Soni, who's based in London and in Delhi. We talked to him quite a bit, and he's worldwide travelled. He's opened up restaurants across the globe, he's decided that we should maybe look into travel into Punjab, Delhi, and Dubai. He's just opened up a few restaurants in Dubai as a consultant, and he's working very closely with us as he's my executive chef. So we are looking maybe in 2021 to start offering care services out in Delhi and in Punjab, and possibly 2022 in Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, your portfolio there really is it's gone from strength to strength. Really, I mean, it's you started out basically around East London. You've gone out to West London. You're doing English weddings out in Norfolk. You're doing a wedding out in Leeds. It's fantastic, really. I mean, that the way you've actually expanded your portfolio. Can I just kind of ask, is a lot of your business-wise, is a lot of it word of mouth, or is it through social media? How do you actually get your business?
Most of my business is word of mouth. We use a lot of social media platforms, Facebook, mainly Instagram. I think a lot more people are on Instagram at the moment. I'm interacting more with Instagram. Social media is just a platform to let our future customers know what we can do for them. And it's just a place where they can grab some quick information on the company. So we are using social media platforms, but I think it's more for just to show our presence, that we are in the industry. This is what we do. This is what we've achieved. So obviously, we are a multi-award winning company. So it's always nice to let our future clients know that coming to us, they're not coming to somebody who's just set up. We are an award-winning company. We have been around for a while. We have done many, many prestigious events for many, many clients. Charlie Sheen, when he was down in April this year, we catered for him. Last year, I was booked for Stephen Henry's book launch. So, these are sort of things, the information you can grab from social media. But after that, people head to our social media platforms based on either hearing our name from somewhere or being recommended to them.
Yeah, that's actually, listening to you, it's very, very, very inspirational. What you've actually, what you've done, what you've achieved. What kind of challenges have you had? Have you had many challenges? Logistical wise. So I often hear sometimes with caterers that basically the facilities are not really up for scratch. You've got to sometimes keep the food in the vans for so long. About kitchen deposits. The way that the food has to be. At the end of the function, the way you've got to take the food away in your vans. Without good kitchen facilities. I mean, what's the take on all of this?
I mean, the way we tend to work is, if we were going to a venue where we've never worked before, we would go and do a site visit to make sure that what we need to supply to carry out the function. So, like the function we've got in Leeds and for next year, we're due to go on site. I mean, I've spoken to the venue. They've sent me pictures of what they've got. We're going to be going down to Leeds once this lockdown's over to go and inspect the venue to carry out a full logistical review to see what it is, what they have there, what we need to bring in order to carry out the function. So logistically wise, we will do a thorough on-site inspection, know what's required of us to make sure that we will do the job, and we will make sure the client knows that this is what they've got. We might have to supply this extra equipment, and we will budget that into the price and let the client know could be additional cost which you may incur if they do not have the necessary equipment on site. There's a venue we work a lot at in Hertfordshire, brand new spanking venue, opened up last year. Their kitchen is a room, nothing in it, one tap. Like there, we have to put a satellite kitchen on site. And when clients come to mention this venue to me, the first thing I do mention to them, have you been there? Have you seen the kitchen? They said no. I say, well, they don't have a kitchen, it's a room. It's literally a blank canvas with one sink in there. So we have to supply a satellite kitchen on site to do the job properly. Obviously, health and safety, food hygiene is very, very big at the moment. We've got to make sure we've covered all aspects. And those are sort of things we've got to go through with every client to educate the client that even though the venue is nice, we still have to make sure that we are covered in terms of health and safety, food hygiene, that the food is cooked, prepared to a higher standard, fresh on site, to make sure we deliver on site the standards you want from us. So it is logistically, you do have those sort of things you need to look at, but that's all part and parcel of project management and carrying out an event. But any territory who's going to go to a venue, they will know the venue they're going to go to and what facilities are available, and they should carry out a full inspection before that happens.
Yeah, well, that's very, very good advice there to the listeners. To be honest with you, that you'll do that. You'll have the site visit. You'll look at the facilities. You'll see what needs to be done. See if you need to bring a tent in, whatever else,
Yeah.
Which is good, because I do know for a fact there are some venues out there that are very, very, very challenging, where you might have a marquee, for example, on one side, and then you may have a suite where the kitchen is on the other side.
Yeah.
And sometimes the venues don't allow you the space.
Yeah. So, there's a venue, I mean, it's not far from you, Wickham Court. You know that venue very well. Yeah. It's a very exclusive venue. We are the exclusive caterers there. And when we did a wedding there, we could use a kitchen actually within the building. We have no issues using that. But then we have to get the food from the building, down the walkway, down the stairs, through the gardens to the marquee, which is the far end of the garden. I think when we first did a function there, all we did was we set up a complete brand new catering marquee. We bought our fridges in. I mean, we got refrigerated vans, so refrigeration wise, we weren't a problem. But we bought freezers in for ice cream, ice, etc. We bought all these freezers in. We set up a full proper industrial satellite kitchen. So it's worth knowing what's available. But then when you do have venues where the marquee is one place and the kitchen is somewhere else, and it's raining, it can be a nightmare. We've had that scenario. In somebody's house, we had a massive acre land, set a marquee up, and then they set the catering marquee up, and it was like a 500, 600 meters gap. Lovely day. By the time we had to serve the main food, it came down with rain. I was walking with the staff with a massive golf umbrella covering the food and covering the waiter to make sure that no rainwater got in the food, and walking across the field to make sure the food was delivered without rainwater. In other words, once you get rainwater and food, the food's gone. So it can be challenging, but you have to cover all those scenarios in advance.
Well, that's where it comes down to your professionalism, really. You've been in the business for a long time. You know the lay of the land. You know what to do. And the clients are aware of that. They know if you're there, the food will come out hot. Things will go to time. and all being well, at the end of the function, you'll get a review from them saying how wonderful it was. And when you get that review, am I right in saying that just makes you feel the best person in the world, doesn't it, really?
It does. I mean, to get a review from the client, it's reassuring that what you've done was what they booked you for. And I mean, we work very, very closely with our clients from the minute they turn up for a food tasting. I mean, I understand there's the competition is very fierce out there. We ain't everybody's cup of tea. It could be price, it could be anything, and I appreciate that. But then I do tell my clients that as well. But the clients we do work with, 97% of my clientele become good friends of mine. That's the type of relationship we build. We're in close contact from the minute they book us. We're in close contact with them. We talk to them regularly, make sure there's anything else we can help them with, if there's any scenarios, any problems they have. And believe it or not, Jonathan, we had this one client that booked us 14 months in advance, 3 months before the wedding, 2 o'clock in the morning. She was on the phone to me, crying down the phone because something went wrong. And first thing she did, she picked the phone up, she rang me. And I got my wife saying, why is she ringing you? And I said, well, it's a service we provide. We're there for the client. They've booked us. It's a very high profile wedding. Something's gone wrong with one of her suppliers, not one of my suppliers I recommended, one of her suppliers she recommended. And she's on the phone to me saying, it was basically a bride's dilemma. Something wasn't working the way she wanted it. She wanted to shed a few tears. I let her shed a few tears 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said to her, do you know what? Come and see me tomorrow. If not, I'll come and see you. Next day, 11 o'clock, I went to see her. We ironed out the problem what it was, and it was all resolved. By that time, she had the part where she wanted to cry all out, and she had a clear head on her shoulders. In the morning, we said, right, not a problem, we can fix this. You've lost your money on that supplier. I mean, it's only a deposit. I go, what I'll do, I'll bring my supplier in, I'll swallow that deposit, and I'll make sure we get the job done. The client was more than happy. Since then, I've done 3 functions for them. So, it's the type of service you want to give to the client. And those are the sort of things where we try to help. We become their friends. We want to make sure, we tell the client, at your wedding or your event, you need to be a guest at your event. When you see my staff, when you see me, when you see my event managers walking around the floor, you will look at me, you want to smile, knowing that your job, your wedding is being handled best we can do it, and by a team of professionals that are passionate about doing the work.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, your mentality is very, 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 very good. You work with a client from day one. You're there to offer them a solution. They've come to you for a solution to their issue, and you're working with them to day one to make sure that solution is basically, how can I say, it's completed according to their satisfaction. In other words, what we call them sometimes in marketing they're the status quo, basically. The client is a status quo, and you're there basically to help them with a problem. It's like a lifetime issue. The wedding is a big part of their lives, and you're there to make sure that everything's going to be all right from a catering point of view, and you're there to obviously assist them if they need any other help in anything else, really.
Yeah, I mean, we like we said with our clients, we plan their function from start to finish. We'll tell them we want to know everything from the minute the event starting right up to the point where our team will leave. We will manage your function for you. If you've got a toastmaster like yourself, we will work with you. I mean, you've seen how we work, Jonathan. We keep you updated throughout every stage.
Yeah.
Even the venue. So when we create itineraries for the bride and groom, the venue gets it. Yourself will get it. And then when we create the final itinerary, everyone's input, all the suppliers get the itinerary. So we all sort of sing it from the same hymn sheet, as they say. So it's always nice to make sure once you've got a good team to work together, and the whole event runs a lot more smoother for the client, and that's what they're paying you to do.
Well, that's what it comes down to. I mean, teamwork is the essence of it all. If you work with a good team, you've got a good photographer, a good videographer, a good DJ, a toastmaster, everything else that's associated with a wedding. And you all speak beforehand and on the day if need be, whatever the case may be. And the floor plan goes to everybody if possible prior to the event. You're on for a winner.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, on top of that, we don't charge the client to feed the suppliers. coming from a DJing background, this is very old school mentality where wedding suppliers never got fed by the caterers, which I've seen still here sometimes now in today's era that they don't get fed. Now, me coming from that sort of background of being a DJ and never being fed at weddings, we make sure that the suppliers do get fed. Whether we set up a separate table from somewhere or when the canapes are going out, we make sure we send the food out to suppliers. We make sure that everyone is fed. And one thing we do not do is charge the client to feed the suppliers. Which is one thing which I'm very passionate about is making sure you're a team. You're going to work together on this event, and you're going to work together in the future for another event. Last thing you want to do is develop a reputation of being rude or arrogant, and everyone's got their shoulders up in the air when you turn up to a job. It's charge the client to feed the suppliers. Which is one thing which I'm very passionate about is making sure you're a team. You're going to work together on this event, and you're going to work together in the future for another event. Last thing you want to do is develop. What happened there?
Yeah. I mean, still with me, Rashpal?
Yep, I'm still there, Jonathan.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, no, that's right. You're working with the clients from day one, as you say. You're working as a team, and there's nothing nicer, really. Yes, we all work in harmony. And then the beauty of it is when it comes to social media at the end, everyone can blog about each other. Everyone can say, everyone played their part in the day and everything, and everyone can be tagged in. So that's marketing for everybody else, isn't it? Really,
that is true. Yeah, very, very true. I mean, every time we work with suppliers, we create our video promotional shots for a wedding. We do mention our suppliers we've worked with to make sure that everyone does get exposure about the event.
Yeah, well, that's a very, 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 very good thing. I mean, I mean, in terms of social media, what do you normally, your social media, your marketing, do you tend to use, obviously I know you mentioned a lot of it's word of mouth, which is wonderful, but do you tend to use Instagram more than Facebook, or do you use Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn?
We do use Twitter now and then to tweet anything important or any changes to the business, like if we won an award, we tweet that out. But when it comes to actual Instagram or Facebook, we use Instagram a lot more than Facebook. What I found is, it's all about Instagram at the moment. There's a lot more people on Instagram. A lot of people do have reservations about Facebook, but we do share stuff onto Facebook afterwards. But with Instagram, it's instant. You can put it out. You can go live. And I think it's a bit more of a user-friendly platform to get your material out there.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's Instagram is known to be very, very, very visual. You've got your hashtags. You can tag people in. You've got your story. There's a lot of functionalities to actually to pick up people, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas Facebook can be the same, can be good. It obviously depends on the way it's it's the way it's all marketed, because nowadays the problem that you've got with Facebook is the algorithms. It's the algorithmic engagement is terrible now. Whereas when Facebook first started, the algorithm was great. It went out to as many people. Now it's all about cost for Facebook. If you pay for the ad, it'll get out, but it doesn't happen organically anymore, unfortunately.
No, and then when you do put a post up, you lose it within the feeds within sort of space of 5 minutes, depending on the amount of people you're following, the people following you, and the amount of people they following. You lost your feed within space of like 5 minutes. Same with Twitter. As soon as you put a tweet out, within 30 seconds, a minute, your tweet's gone. It's history. It's vanished.
Well, yeah, that's half the thing. I mean, the only way it works, my mentality is your post needs to be striking. It needs to show what you're doing. Yeah. It needs to show it's not sort of selling that you're a caterer because people know you're a caterer. It's about the benefit they're going to get from you. Yeah.
It's to show people what you can do for them.
It's their solution. In other words, yes, indeed. I mean, you've mentioned on weddings, you've done obviously all different types of weddings and everything. You know, English, Asian. What's about corporate events? Have you had like all there?
Yeah, we do a lot of corporate events. We have grown significantly in the corporate market over the last 3 or 4 years now. We do a lot of work for these artists who do their art shows in London. We do a lot of work for them. Through that recognition, we have done a lot of other corporate events. We did get recommended to do a networking event for Porsche in Mayfair. We didn't get the job because we were slightly more expensive compared to the company that did the job. But we are getting a lot more stuff out there. HSBC, we've done food for them. One of the venues we work with, they use this particular venue a lot. HSBC do, and they do conferencing up for 3 days at a time. And this particular venue, they have, I think it's 12 caterers they have on their books. We're exclusive Indian caterers for this venue, but they will come to us to do food for the 3 days. Because they know we're capable of doing authentic Indian food. We will do a roast dinner. We will do fish and chips. We will do Italian. We have that group of chefs within my team who can produce this variety of food, something different every day. And you know, it's nice that we work very well with this particular venue. So it's always nice for them to come to us when I know they've got 12 other caterers on their books who they can use, who are British caterers or African caterers. So the corporate industry is growing. It's been an industry which I thought it will be very difficult to get into for us, for being an Indian caterer. But after we did our first event in Mayfair, we've sort of grown in the industry slowly. It's been growing at a nice pace. We have been getting around. Our name has been thrown at very high-profile suppliers like Porsche and BMW. We work very closely with an exclusive vodka company who supply vodka for the Mojos, the Brit Awards, where they're sole distributor in London. I would only sort of manage to come across them through my corporate work. So it's been an interesting journey, the corporate side, something which I've always wanted to get into, but I got into it accidentally at a lot quicker stage than I anticipated.
Yeah, I mean that's always good, and well done to you on that, because the corporate market is rather big, and there's a lot to explore. You have your gala dinners, you have your award ceremonies, you have your product launches. So basically, the sky really is the limit.
Yeah,
and it's as you say, once you conquer that market, you know, word gets out about you, then that can only be beneficial. You know, yeah. I mean, can I ask you though, in relation, obviously, to once the event is finished, do you actually ask the client for a testimonial, or do you actually wait for them to give you a testimonial?
What we normally do, we're quite close with the client by the time we get to the day of the event. Asking for a testimonial is no need, because they'll give you one automatically. Yeah, they're more than happy to do it. Before, you know, when we leave the site, you know, we meet all the guests before we leave the family. Just make sure they're all happy before we leave. If there's any issues, if you iron up, and then we normally give it about, depending on, we know when they're going to go on honeymoon. So we'll wait till they get back from honeymoon, they're settled in, and we'll ring them up just to, as a follow-up. You know, myself or Binder or Louisa will give the client a call just to make sure that everything's happy. If there's any concerns or if they've got any feedback. And at that point, we'll ask them if they're happy to do a video testimonial, or if they're happy to just do a sort of testimonial on Facebook or Google. And more than sort of 9 times out of 10, before we even get to stage of asking for it, they've done it. I got WhatsApps, you know, next day, or I had WhatsApp like 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, Rash, we just finished. Thank you. You know, so you get those quick. Thank you very much. Everyone's talking about the event, or day after. Oh, I'm just flying out my honeymoon. Thank you very much. We really appreciate everything. So those sort of things we still use as testimonials and put them out. But the actual official testimonial, we wait till the client comes back, and when we follow up with a phone call with the client to see how everything went, if we've met their expectations, if they're happy with it, if they had any concerns. At that point, we'll ask them if they don't mind doing a formal testimonial for us.
Oh no, that's very, very nice. Actually, you know, it's as we said before, testimonials makes you, you know, it. How can I say, ups your credentials. You know, it's all about credentials. You know, it's when you're sometimes selling to the client, it's showing them about your previous experiences. You know, showing them the the feedback from other people, and people take that on board, and they like that. To be honest,
it is true. I mean, I was surprised. I got a testimonial from Theresa May. To be honest, we just emailed and said, "Hope you enjoyed the food." And next day, I got an email from her PR secretary saying, "Theresa May, partially emailed Theresa May. She told me to." She gave this statement, which I thought which was very nice of her. So all we did was just say thank you. Hope you enjoyed the event and enjoyed the food, and it was nice to get a testimony from her.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's a massive feather in the cap of Satkeer Catering, really. It shows obviously real credibility there. If you've been asked to to cater for a function of somebody of that high profile, and especially getting a review back, that goes a long way. A lot of people will look at that and think, this is a credible company. Let's try them, which was only a good thing. Now, we wanted to ask you this question, Rashpal.
Sure.
Where does all your passion come from? What really makes you tick?
My passion.
Very passionate about what you do, so I'd like to know, more.
I'm passionate about. I mean, being in the industry for so long, I've always felt that the industry started off so well. The number of amazing suppliers out there, especially the number of amazing caterers. But as some of these caterers grew, they took their foot off the pedal of providing quality food, and it became more, I want to do 1,500 covers. Oh, how was your weekend? Oh, I did 2,000 covers last night. It's not about that. It's about giving the customer quality food, value for money. And that's what I'm passionate about. And at the same time, giving them good, fresh food. I mean, money is hard to come by nowadays. Everyone works very, very hard. I work very hard. And you want to spend that money wisely. And I don't see how you cannot give a client something of a high standard at a very reasonable price. And that's what I do. We've taken on the industry, which is very, very competitive. Even when I was in the talks of setting Satkeer Catering up, some of my close friends, they've been on my case from day one saying, "Rashpal, do it, you're mad, you haven't done it, why haven't you done it?" When I was serious about doing it, some of the people were saying, it's a very, very competitive industry. And I said, I know it is, but the vision I have and what I want to give, I think I will do very well. And when I went round pinching my staff, not my kitchen team, my front of house, when I pinched Louisa, when Binda come and work for me, we handpick our team. We need to make sure they see the vision we have, they share the vision we have, and have the passion I have. It's that passion. If they've got the same passion that I have, every time I'm on a down, their passion picks me up and makes me go in again. And then when Sunil Soni, my executive head chef, joined us, when I spoke to him about this is what I wanted to do, would you come and work with us, take us in a new direction? He saw the passion and how I felt about what I was doing, and he goes, "You remind me of the sort of same thing he had at a young age about food, giving someone really good food, new ideas," and he was more than happy to join us. And he's taking the company into a new direction, and it's just a matter of time before Satkeer Catering does open up its restaurant in London, and you will get to taste some of the world-renowned dishes. He's a biryani king in India. You will get to taste his food. His food is absolutely phenomenal. It's on another level. It is just a matter of time before we get the right location and we have him here working for us full time, not throughout the wedding season. So the team I've built around me, they create the passion now. They're the driving force of Satkeer Catering. So every time I might have a downer or take my foot off the pedal or sort of feel negative, the passion and the positivity we have in the team picks everyone back up again. So that's where the passion is coming from now.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, really, because passion's really what it's all about. It's you've got to love what you do. You've got to have in your case, you've got a passion for food. You can, you're one of these people. It's like you live and you kind of live and sleep, with your interest and your passion about food, and that's what makes a good entrepreneur. That's what really makes it happen, with that kind of passion. So very, very credit to you there, Rashpal, and well done to you. So
thank you.
So let's moving on to the next question here. Can I kindly ask, over the years you've been doing wedding events, do you have any that have really stood out for you and why? Any particular weddings and events?
I won't say any particular wedding, but one event that really sticks out to me, hold dear to me, is we did the first ever corporate function I did was for an award-winning artist called Anna Mozzetta. She did an event. It was hosted by the Honourable Richard Evans at the Motor Village in Mayfair, and we were commissioned to do the canapes and manage the bath at that particular event. Now, this event, the guest list was from family offices. There were a number of distinguished guests from across the country and lords and ladies. So the guest list was quite a prestige of a guest list we had then. And for us, being at my first corporate event, I was a bit nervous, knowing that we are going into Mayfair. We're going to be serving food and drink around these very, very expensive cars in Mayfair. We're going to be dealing with a lot of high-profile attending. And that event was spectacular. The reviews we got from Richard Evans that evening, that sort of kicked off Satkeer Catering's corporate arm of the business. But after we did that, even the venue themselves, the lady who manages the corporate functions there, she even asked us to come on board and do a few events for them as well, which we did. I think for me that was a milestone for Satkeer at a very, very young age. We were we're still relatively new. We're only 3 years in at that time, so we're still trying to find our feet. And to have that land on our desk and for us to go and do the job to the high standard, which some of the more highly more established companies would have done, and us to go and do that job at exactly the same high standard they could have done, was something which we found walked away thinking, you know what, we nailed that one. And to walk away with reviews left, right, and centre, and to become Anna's, we're Anna's resident caterers now. Every time she has an event in London, or if she's in Bristol, she's based in Bristol, she'll contact us first, and it's down to me to say yes or no. Bristol, sometimes we have said no, but then anything to do with London, the first thing they do, they'll phone us up. When Charlie Sheen would come in, we got the phone call saying, Anna's doing an event, Charlie Sheen's coming, could you cater for Charlie Sheen? I said, whose event is it? Anna's event or Charlie Sheen? She goes, it's Anna's event, Charlie Sheen's a guest of honour. We said, this is Anna's event, we're resident caterer, we're going to do it. Charlie Sheen was just a byproduct at the event.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good. You've got a very, very good name, obviously, with this event planner and obviously lots of others. And that, again, that puts your portfolio up onto another level. It's very, very good for scaling your business. And that's what you're doing, you're putting great performances. People are recommending you and your business is scaling because of it, which is a really, really good thing. Now, talking of basically business, if I can just kindly ask you, as far as you're concerned, do your clients come to you based on price, or are they coming to you for a quality or something different? How would you describe the market, your market?
I mean, my market, when we first started off, it was price competitive for us. Because when you're new and you're entering a market which is very, very competitive, number of high-profile competitors out there, it was for us, we were very price conscious because we wanted to show people what we could do. And it was hard to get a big wedding. This year new, they said, can you deliver? That was a question we were asking, can you deliver? The client, when they first booked us, we did the job. We had to match another caterer's price. It worked out, we didn't make nothing on it. It was a break-even job we did, but it was done to a high standard. That wedding sort of took us into a industry which was very competitive and said, okay, these are the guys to watch out for. And he's made us left, right, and centre since. Now, at this stage, I think we are price conscious. We've entered, you have brackets of, in the industry, you have sort of the lower end, the mid-range, and the high end. So the prices you're working with, depending what area or the range you're in. So we are a quality product. I hope we are, and we are also at the same time price conscious of what we're doing. We're not entertaining the lower end of the business. We are aiming for the top end of the business. We're not getting all the business, but we are getting the mid-range, the top end. We are winning a lot of weddings. from some of our competitors. One, because we're giving a just as good product, or if not better product, but we are slightly more price competitive compared to what our clients want from us. So it's a mix and match of both, really. If a particular client really wants you, they will pay your price.
That's right. That's what it actually comes down to. You know, you're if they want a quality product, they will find the money and they'll pay for your quality product. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. You know, because sometimes, as we know, people try to do things. I don't like to use the word cheap, but they do like to do things a bit, you know, on the cheap. And then they say to themselves at the end of it, you know, why did we go cheap? You know, that it was a big day for us. The food wasn't good, the service wasn't good. You know, it's only later on sometimes that they realise they've made that mistake.
It is. We've heard it. We've had it from a customer. They came to us last year for not last year, but the wedding was last year. They came to us the year before for a wedding. They said you're too expensive. I went, okay, fair enough. When we do tell the clients exactly what they're going to get. When we do a job, we know what the staffing ratio is. I always put extra staff on because I want the service to be spot on. We did a wedding for 350 people. I got the main course out in record time, 8 minutes. For table service. You know, we got the starters out in 6.5 minutes. Normally I give them staff, you know, for 350 people, looking about 12 to 15 minutes. This particular day, this food was out for main course in 8 minutes. And when Louisa came back and said to me, how long do you reckon that took? I said, maybe about 12 minutes. She went, 8 minutes. I was like, really? She goes, you know, you smashed it. But then at that particular time, for that particular event, the client did say to me, I don't want no mess ups on service. But we had extra staff on, and you know, we learned that lesson. So I said, no, from now on, it doesn't cost me much to put extra 2, maybe 4 staff on. The job's getting done better. People are noticing it. And you know, we do that. We do tell our clients that we do put extra staff on. We do have these extra bits and pieces we are adding on. Our menus are printed by proper printers on matte laminated card. So there's these little extra bits and pieces which we do, which are cost money, but at the same time we are cost effective and cost competitive. But then this particular client said we were too expensive, went with somebody else. They've come back to us this year for a wedding we're going to do from next year. When I asked how the wedding went, they said, yeah, it was all good. But when the bride told me, she goes, it was complete shambles on the food front, and they did regret not going with you after seeing what you can do. That's the reason why the bride was adamant. She goes, we are booking Satkeer Catering. Now, their cousin used us, and compared to what they did for her sister's wedding, it was completely different. So, you know, clients, as they're hearing what you're doing, and you know, there's a price element to everything that they are sort of realizing. And clients nowadays, they know what they want. They come to you, they know exactly what they want. It's sometimes, unfortunately, the older generation will try and do a deal with you.
Well, that's right. I mean, basically, it's they've done clients of today. They're very, very savvy. They've done their research. They know where to look. They know not. You know, they know where not to go. But the good thing out of this conversation, though, Rashpal, is what you've taken out of it. You know, on the last question, you know, you've mentioned you had problems. Obviously, you didn't have enough people per table. You know, it wasn't manned as you would like it at one of your events. And what you've done is you've taken the initiative, knowing that, you know, I did wrong. You've held your hands up. You've done wrong, and you've rectified it by bringing in more staff. You know, to cover, you know, basically to cover service, and that's only a credit to you, because you know some people, if it was a caterer, for example, that didn't have passion, they may just think, oh, we'll just ride with it, and whatever happens, happens. But at the end of the day, you know there was a problem, you've addressed it, and that's a very, very, very good ball in your court what you've done there. So again, a very, very, very big well done to you.
We're trying. We're learning all the time. As I tell my team, we're nowhere near to where I want to be. We will never get there, but there's no harm in getting there. And we are learning every day. I'm learning. If I'm learning, I don't know a hell of a lot about the industry. You're learning. So we're continuously developing ourselves, and we're continuously learning.
That's what we need to be doing. At the end of the day, you know, it's all about learning, taking something out of every event that you do. Because even if you're the best in the world, there's still stuff that you don't know. You know,
exactly that.
You're still going to take something out of it, and you're going to take it on board, and you're going to, you'll probably use that method in the future because it's probably better. You're talking about potential about expansion there, which was great to hear. Actually, your aspirations. How would you want to scale? What is your what's your thought behind scaling? I mean, have you got any aspirations you want to discuss?
I mean, even though we are growing, we are scaling up. One of my philosophies behind we're setting Satkeer Catering, when I said we're going to deliver on quality and give the client what they want, my aim is always to give the client exactly what they want. So we only do one function a day, one major function a day. I'm always going to stick to that because that's proven to me to be correct in my thinking. To make sure that we do what we do it properly, and the only way we can do that is making sure you got the best on the job. So we only do the one function a day. And that's what I was carrying on doing, even though we are going to scale up, we are going to go, executive chef is looking at putting a team together in India for us to do Delhi and Punjab. But London is going to be one arm, and then India is going to be another arm, and then 2022 when we're going to Dubai, that's going to be another arm, which again be overseen by Sunil Soni. So it's we are looking at these aspects at the same time. It's making sure that the brand doesn't get tarnished when we do expand. If the brand if we start lacking on quality or the brand is getting tarnished in a way, then we will cut back straight away. When we open up the restaurant, we want to make sure we've got everything nailed how we want it, and we want to make sure that it's done properly. So it's having the right location, the right team in there to do the job. The kitchen team is all ready to go. It's just a matter of getting the right location at the right time. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has hit us quite badly, so that's put a dent in our plans. But we are, at the same time, that's not going to stop us for looking for the opportunity.
Well, I think that's a very, very good thing. Obviously, you're talking about scaling. You're paying potentially India, Dubai, all these other places, which again is a really, really good thing. It's always great to listen to entrepreneurs that want to expand. I mean, you're talking about branding. Now, branding is so important. You've got a brand. People know who you are. That's the thing. People know who you are, and if your service slips, your brand will slip with it.
Exactly. It takes a lifetime to set a brand up, but it takes a minute to destroy it.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you've got a lot of respect for your brand. You want to expand on it, and all I can say is based on your plans, I can only wish you the best on that, and hope things materialise for you, because it's grandiose expansion, and as I say, it's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in trying. I mean, like I said, when we set Satkeer Catering up, I did it off my own back. I invested my own money into it. And I said, if it doesn't work, I've lost myself. I haven't let anyone down. And that's how, when we do head into these expansion methods, which we are exploring, again, it's going to be my backing. If it fails, I've lost that, so I'm going to back it. I'm not going to have an investor come in and put money in and have to answer to him. We've grown at a steady pace, which we're not done more than what we can't. We haven't bitten more than we can chew, and that's what we've been working on. At the same time, the team are very hungry to do more, but at the same time, I keep telling them we don't want to bite off more than we can't chew, and then be in a scenario where we do something wrong. Let's grow at a steady pace, do what we can do it well, and let the client know we're here and this is what we can do for them, and we're an alternative to some of the bigger competitors out there.
Yeah, well, that's that's a very, 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 very good thing. Don't bite off where you can't chew, kind of thing. And you mentioned about generally only doing one function a day, which I think is sensible. There is scaling and there's scaling, but I think one function a day is quite nice, because there is a lot that goes into the function, and you just want to give your best on that one function.
Exactly that.
Which is a good thing. All your emphasis on that. Can I just move on? Just a few more questions left for you, Rashpal. Sure. Now, a big thing in the industry which seems to have come up since COVID-19, obviously, when COVID-19 came up, and then obviously the lockdowns and everything, and there's been a lot of controversy in relation to whether people should have purchased wedding and events insurance at the time of booking, obviously for coverage for different things. Now, what's your take on wedding and events insurance? What would your advice be?
In this day and age, I think it's critical to get wedding insurance. people enter the wedding industry, think it's a very lucrative industry, which it is, if you're good at what you do. It takes, like I say, it takes a lifetime to build your brand. It takes ages to expand. I was quite fortunate enough that I was in the industry long enough to build the brand quickly, go out there, get the staff to come and work with me. So people enter, and within a few years they vanish. So when you're booking clients, your suppliers, you got to make sure they're credible and they're going to be around long enough to do your wedding. Because people are booking sometimes 18 months in advance. Last year, I had 2 clients where they booked a supplier, and coming up 3 months for the wedding, they went bust. They've come to us thinking we were their competitor, and asked whether we would do their function for them. Now, we did one of them, the other one we already booked for. But then if they had wedding insurance, they would have been covered, and they could have gone elsewhere and spent a bit more money. But then they had no insurance, and they were trying to put things together to get a caterer out there. I felt sorry for them, so I did the function for them. But then, this day and age, you need to have that. There's a lot of uncertainty around in the world. Weddings get booked so much in advance, and unfortunately, sometimes they don't materialize. The couple split up, and they've already paid deposits. The deposits are non-refundable with 95% of suppliers out there, and you lose. By the time you put your cake deposit, your cake, the hall, your caterers, the decor, you laid out £5,000-6,000 straight away. So wedding insurance is very, very critical in this day and age, especially with COVID-19. I know the insurance have changed. Because one of my clients was talking to me not long ago about it. To have COVID-19 covered in insurance, they are now charging a premium. So they got.
Well, the situation was basically, at the time when it all started, it was a known fact that starting COVID-19 lockdown, only 30% actually took out wedding insurance, which was a shame, really. Yeah. Now, what it was actually showing that if people would have taken insurance out 6 months or 12 months prior to the epidemic actually starting, some insurance companies actually had indemnities to cover the pandemic.
That's right.
And I think it's taught us suppliers quite a lot more now as well, from what I'm hearing, that we're all going to be more adamant to mention the clients, put them in the right direction to take wedding and events insurance. I think it's like I said, it is a necessity now.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's the world's unpredictable. So now I think it is. Even like some clients who have rescheduled for next year, we've been fortunate enough. 50 weddings we had booked in, the 40 have rescheduled for next year. When COVID-19 hit out and we went on lockdown, I think we were the first company out to issue a statement to say, don't worry, we will work with you. Your deposit's secured. If we can't perform at your function to any reason, we will give you your money back. So we were the first ones out there. Lucky for us, 48% of those weddings have been rescheduled for next year. 2 of them happening maybe later this year. And they none of them have wedding insurance. I think one's got wedding insurance. Sorry, one's got wedding insurance. None of the others. And now, when I'm talking now, I'm saying maybe you want to consider wedding insurance because you've booked for April. One wedding's for 500 people. I said, very might not happen for 500 people. So maybe you want to consider wedding insurance. You're covered now.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Rashpal, it can cover for anything. It can cover for a death in the family. It can cover for a supplier going bust. It can cover for a venue going bust. It's so many things that could potentially happen, and you'll spend as much money as a car, really.
Yeah.
So but
the average wedding for an Indian wedding, you're paying £40,000 to £50,000 now.
Yeah, you are. The expense is immense, and this is why I think a lot of suppliers are now thinking, hold on a minute, let's put it on our contracts, let's put it on our website, let's make people aware that it's beneficial. And I think we can all do that. I think the wedding industry will be a better place.
Yeah, I think it is. We mention it to all our customers now. My previous customers booked with us. When we in conversation with them, we have said to them, have you got wedding insurance? Maybe you might consider having wedding insurance now. All the clients who are ringing us now, because I did put a booking freeze on just to make sure my clients who already booked with us, we can offer them the premium dates for next year. So we did have a booking freeze. Now I've lifted the freeze only last week when we started entertaining clients again. as we're in conversation with the clients, we are mentioning to them, we would strongly advise you consider having wedding insurance to cover your event.
Yeah, I mean that's a very, very, very good thing. Obviously, I know there's companies that are sort of not so adamant about offering. We can't obviously force people's hands, but all we can do as professionals is to offer them the best advice. Really,
that's right. That's what you're there for. You want to advise them and guide them. If they don't book your services, you still be known for the advice and guidance you give them.
Well, that's right. So basically, coming up to the last two questions now for you. I mean, I know you mentioned it briefly. You've mentioned that COVID-19 has had an impact on your business.
Yep.
You've 48 to 50 bookings you've had to postpone.
Yep.
Which you've actually mentioned to us. I mean, based on that and based on what we're seeing now, as we see it, and the future, what do you feel the future of the wedding and events industry actually is?
I mean, the future of the wedding and events industry, it's going to take a couple of years before it gets back into full swing. 2021 is going to be people recovering from this year. 2022 is going to start picking up, and you're looking maybe around about 2023 before the wedding industry is back as it was before COVID-19 kicked off. So it's going to take a couple of years for it to recover. It depends on wedding sizes. I mean, I've been saying this for a number of years now. The weddings numbers are decreasing. The days of 500-600 people have gone. You'll only see a handful of weddings where you'll have 500-600 people now. But one thing I have noticed is the British weddings we're doing, from doing 40 to 50 guests, we're doing 120, 150 guests now. That's for the wedding breakfast now, not the evening reception. Evening reception has gone up to 220, 250. So I have seen a slight swing where the Asian market, the wedding numbers are dropping to less than 300, and I can see them going 250, 200 people in the future. But the British market somehow has sort of taken the opposite turn where the numbers have gone up. So it's a bit of a bizarre one. Yeah,
I mean, it's things obviously swinging roundabouts. People have realised that obviously the big weddings, the huge weddings may not be an option anymore because of the social distancing. It's say 2022, 2023. It could take that long to recover. Look, we never know. We all stay in hope. We keep our options open.
Yeah.
It's basically, you've answered the 10 questions, which is fabulous, Rashpal. Can I ask, how would you like to close on this?
I mean, first of all, thank you for taking time out and asking me to come and be interviewed for yourself. It's an honour for us, for you to consider us so worthy for this. But I mean, the way we'll close is to anyone out there who is planning a wedding or any type of event, just to make sure you've covered, when you're reviewing contracts, make sure you've covered all scenarios, all aspects. Make sure the suppliers you pick with, make sure you're comfortable. So I get this when I speak to clients. I get a lot. They spoke to one of my competitors. They were rude on the phone, or they didn't feel the energy from them. When you book a supplier, make sure you're comfortable with them. Because that you're giving your best day of your life in their hands. So make sure you're comfortable with suppliers. Visit them, go to their premises, try their food, try their services, and just make sure you're comfortable. And make sure if you've got that reinsurance from them and you're comfortable, that's one less headache leading up to the event. So that's all I'm saying, is making sure that the suppliers you want to work with, that you are comfortable with them, and you put your faith in them and to make sure they can deliver. And make sure you do your research on them, make sure they're not been around for a couple of years, who will be there to do, no matter what the scenario happens. I mean, we've lucky for us, we survived this quite well, but we will be there for the future. So, like I've said, I've seen companies come and go within 2 years. So he's making sure to do research on the supplier and visit them, go to their premises, so you know where they're based.
Well, I think that's some very, very good advice they're given there by Rashpal. He's quite right, actually, to be honest with you. I like the take he's got on this. It's, do your research on the suppliers, credentials, that their credentials and portfolio is very, very important. There's always people out there that can give a reference. If the client's not sure, they can call so-and-so, who might be able to give a reference on those people. It is finding that it's a vibe. At the end of the day, is that person going to work with you closely to deliver you that solution? That is what the essence of the whole thing is, and that's the essence of a good wedding. And that's what makes a good team. If everyone's on the same wavelength and everyone works closely together.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, first of all, a very, very, very big thank you to all of our listeners this evening. If anyone has any questions, do leave a comment, and you know, Rashpal will only be too pleased to help you.
Sure, definitely.
So you know, and I want to say a very, very big thank you to Rashpal also for taking the time to this evening to be interviewed and sharing his insight into the Asian wedding catering, and indeed the English wedding catering. And you know, I can say it's very bespoke now what he does into the whole market, really.
Yeah.
So Rashpal will be there to help you should anybody obviously require his assistance. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in, and a very big good night to you all. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.